Mr. Poole, how are you, sir?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well. I didn't know if you, because you hadn't Skyped in before or Zoom. I don't know what we use. If you could do it from your studio, but looks like you got it. Looks like you got it all worked out.
I hope so. I was hoping it wasn't going to double up your audio, but it's sounding good.
Yeah, it sounds good. And you look refreshed. I don't think you're as much. Are you a morning guy or you're a night owl?
Oh yeah. I both. I go to bed at like 12:30 and I wake up at 7:30.
That's not that bad. 12:30, 7:30. Yeah, you're getting 7 hours of sleep. Good for you. I am a 4:30 riser, which is, not ideal.
Oh.
Tim, Mr. Poole, tell us what this conversation was like, because I don't know if you were following earlier, but Gerald did receive an email from the contact at YouTube saying, hey, can we talk about the election later this week? We haven't actually spoken with them yet.
I think this might have to do with the call I had last night. I had two calls, actually. So about a week and a half or so ago, I get an email from a YouTube rep asking if I would schedule a call to discuss the RNC. That was it. And we did. So yesterday, around 4:30, I have a phone call with YouTube rep, and they brought up a couple things pertaining to the RNC, not really that big of a deal, but they mentioned that CNN is going to be allowing, and this is interesting, they said CNN's going to be allowing other networks to obviously rebroadcast this. And I said, right, Fox is doing a simulcast. And they told me yes, but there's some restrictions, like they're not going to allow anchors on at certain times or something. We're not sure. So CNN, I guess, reached out to YouTube and said, have the YouTubers, the bigger channels, contact us. And so YouTube says, here's their email. I said, sure. And I said to YouTube, I was like, this is fair use. I don't need to ask them anything.
Right.
You can't lock down the former president and the current president debating the future of this country. And there's a lot to break down there. And so they said, we're going to send you the email. You can reach out to them. And as for the RNC, this is also a bit interesting, too. They told me, while you will be allowed to say the 2020 election was stolen and fraudulent or whatever, advertiser guidelines may be different. And I'm trying to be careful because I'm paraphrasing, not quoting, but something about if you deny the election, you may still be demonetized or you may have your ad revenue taken from you or something like that. So I thought that was interesting.
Yeah.
Following that call, I sent an email to CNN saying, Google reached out, asked me to contact you guys. I said, we are a live show. We're 8 to 10. We're going to be providing commentary on the debate. Let me know if there's anything you're considering or what you need. And the response I got back was confirming that we will not allow, or it was like confirming we are only allowing certain digital publications to use the CNN YouTube feed and not allowing YouTubers to rebroadcast. And so I immediately contacted YouTube again to let them know, hey, they're basically saying no. It's not about restrictions. It's we are not going to let you. And I pointed this out to YouTube. I said, when we streamed with commentary and fact checking the Republican debate, Fox News had done a similar thing where they threatened to take down various shows, and they did, but only after the live stream.
Right.
We challenged their claim, and they dropped it. There were many other liberals who challenged the claim, and Fox dropped it because they're not going to win that.
Right.
And so I asked YouTube, and this is a second call I'm on with them now.
Yeah.
And I said, however, considering CNN appears to be very proactive on this, if they file a copyright claim against us while we are live and fair use, YouTube will take down our live show. And it's different from we did the show and we challenge this because YouTube defaults to, okay, it's a civil dispute, take it outside of YouTube.
Right.
But if we're live and you shut us down, there is no go back.
No.
And this is interesting. YouTube said they said, let us, we're going to check on this. You're right. We may actually defer and allow the streams to continue until after they're done.
Well, that's good. That's good news.
Surprise.
Yeah. It's it's always
no
it's always kind of will they won't they with YouTube. For example, they're like yeah you can, and then they found a way to suspend us for old content right before the midterms last go round.
Did you hear what happened to us? They went back 3 years and took down our two biggest shows abruptly without notice and for fake reasons. Just 3 years later.
Yeah. What were the reasons?
T-shirts made for all the people getting demonetized too.
So we did a show and it was the most ridiculous show ever. Joe Rogan, Alex Jones, Michael Malice, Drew Hernandez, Blair White. I mean, just the list goes on. Luke Rutkowski. And it was on YouTube. It was our biggest show. It's not the biggest show we've done, but it had like 2.4 million on YouTube. They claimed that at the beginning of the show, someone supported QAnon. And I'm like, that's not true at all. Like, none of the people on that show would have done that unless it was a sarcastic joke, like mocking QAnon. And they said, well, whatever. And then the next one they took down was another Alex Jones episode where they claimed that it had medical misinformation in it, which is also bunk. Right. 3 years later, I was like, get out of here with that.
Yeah, of course. And by the way, who cares if someone supported QAnon on a panel show? I'm willing to bet that if someone actually did, I don't think they did, someone else like Alex Jones say, well, that's crazy. You're making the rest of us look bad.
Exactly.
It was like when Alex Jones had Kanye on, he's like, oh, I don't think you're saying you're a Nazi. He's like, I am a Nazi, though. He's like, let's stop. Like, he felt exactly how everyone else feels when Alex Jones is on their show, and it was hilarious. Yep. But he's not a QAnon guy, and that's a big thing, too. You look at Alex Jones. They want to tell you what he did with Sandy Hook. They don't want him to tell you. They want to tell you that he didn't apologize. That's what they want to do with this. They want to tell you what the debate was like. And they have the luxury of very few people tuning in, CNN. So afterwards, they can reframe it and say, Donald Trump lied, of course, as we expected. They don't want that live broadcast. That's the danger zone for legacy media. They just can't compete. So the fact that, to me, what's so disconcerting is, we've had to struggle with this too. I think a lot of people don't know this. There's the law. You have to know the law, and I do as far as single-party consent states, right? And we have to know this with the undercover journalists, where for people who don't know, that means you don't need someone to give you permission to film them. That's how you get undercover journalism. Well, that's the law. You're protected. But YouTube can remove it anyway if they feel like it. We've had people who sat down for a change my mind, who signed a release form, then later didn't like the way the video turned out, even though it was unedited, and YouTube said, well, that's our policy. So they don't even follow the law, and that allows them to, like a scalpel, selectively apply rules however they want. And this is, I think, what we can expect the entire election season. How does it affect you guys, too, going into the election season? Because this is busy. There's a lot of live streams.
Oh, this is, same thing for you guys. This is like the Olympics. Like every 4 years is it's a big event. You build up your membership base. It allows you to survive the weaker periods doing the news. You need these big moments. Of course, this time around, this debate that we're about to see on Thursday is history. Mm-hmm. My understanding is never before has a president debated his predecessor for the next term. And it's not being done through the Commission on Presidential Debates. Everything is weird, and more than ever, you are going to need fact-checking, commentary, criticism, etc. They are trying. CNN. Do you know? Let me tell you this. Let me ask you a question. Do you know what CNN's key demographic viewership was on last Friday?
I mean, as far as the age group.
So 25 to 54. How many viewers do you think they're getting in primetime? CNN.
In primetime, 48,000.
Yes, you are correct. 9 p.m., I believe, was 49,000 viewers.
Wow. I swear to you, I didn't read the story.
Yeah.
That's insane. Their median demographic, Fox News' median viewer was 74 years ago, so I can only imagine it's older now. And a lot of people think that CNN would be younger because it's hip, but it's not.
Hip. Well, to be fair, in their 65 plus, they're getting around 400K, I think. Whoa. So that does matter for voters. It does. But you can tell CNN knows in 15 years they won't exist. Right. And I mean, no disrespect to older people, but when they move on and they pass down, to the next generation to take the reins, CNN ain't getting a single piece of that. Nope. And so this is, I don't think what we're seeing now is necessarily CNN worried about money. Because if it was, the email I got would have said a $10,000 fee would be appropriate for the rights or something like that. The fact that they're saying we're not going to allow anyone to do this is we want to be able to control the narrative. If it was about money, CNN would use their brand and their position and their access to sell licenses to as many networks as possible.
And Gerald has a question, but one thing, to me, this is unprecedented. Have you experienced this before where YouTube has told you to go communicate directly with a network? I've never had that.
Never. Well, when they told me they wanted to talk about the RNC, that made sense because they're going to have a booth or something. They're going to be involved. Yeah. They've done this before.
Sure.
But the first thing that gets brought, the RNC was ancillary. The first thing that gets brought up is CNN is, and I'm trying to be careful because I didn't record the conversation or anything like that. But my general understanding was CNN contacted YouTube and you know what I think this may have been is CNN did this to YouTube as kind of a legal pit trap, calling YouTube and saying, We know there's going to be a bunch of streamers, big channels, news shows, podcasts who are going to rebroadcast with commentary. Just have them contact us. And they're doing that so they can try and set, when it comes to any legal challenge, they were warned in advance to create willful infringement arguments, which I still reject because it's fair use. And that was actually something that came up as soon as I got off the phone with YouTube. I'm thinking, do I call my lawyer now? Because the issue is, if we reach out to CNN, they're going to try and make a claim of, we explicitly said no, they did it anyway. Right. Now we want to sue for more. And then here's the bigger challenge. I've been involved in a handful of lawsuits already, and you know this. And as we move into the election, they're only going to ramp up.
Of course.
And they are intentionally choosing districts where they're going to win on politics, not on the merits.
Yep.
CNN, I'd be willing to bet, is setting this up so that if it comes to a fair use challenge, they're going to pull some New York district court for the lawsuit, claiming that's where they operate out of. Or, they're in Atlanta, but they'll try. And they try. They probably will.
Yeah.
Get some Democrat judge who's going to bang the gavel and say, don't know, don't care, CNN wins.
Yep. No, you're absolutely right. We have seen the ramp up. I mean, look, our second highest line item beyond employee payroll is a retainer for lawyers, and it is ramped up. And the goal is, without a doubt, it's been very clear, to shut us down before the election. They go, okay, we're going to demonetize you. We take it on the chin. All right. Then they say, we're going to actually remove you for the next election stream. Oh, wait, you have a platform that allows you to broadcast to a bigger audience than YouTube with Rumble. Now we're going to remove your ability to make a living at all. And the lawsuits come, because they do not. To give you an idea, here's the contrast. CNN, their budget is being spent on lights, and the bulk of their budget is being spent on advertisements. The bulk of our budget here, as far as human resources, I've used that word because I know HR, but actual human resources, research and being ready to get the information on the fly. That's the bulk of what we invest in, is that. Not just running ads for reverse mortgages, even though if it was a scam, of course, Tom Selleck wouldn't be there. You had a question, Gerald.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Tim, I was actually surprised to hear that YouTube may allow this stream to go on. But you know who else I think probably got this email? Rumble. And you know what they probably sent back? I'm not kidding. Chris probably went to the copier machine and put his middle finger down on it and sent back a copy of his middle finger. Are you actively trying to get your audience now off of YouTube onto Rumble? We've been doing it for years. I know they're coming after you where it hurts financially. Like, do you have a backup plan so that if YouTube does decide to just randomly go 3 years back and take you down, you've got somewhere for people to find you?
So Thursday, our plan is to multi-stream on X, Rumble, and YouTube. And I hope YouTube realizes what that means, because that means if they're deciding to side with CNN, they just are going to start losing out on. They know how big the viewership is going to be and the demand for this.
Yeah.
But here, I'll tell you the challenge with Rumble, and we do put all of our videos on Rumble. We have I believe about 500,000 on Timcast IRL and 300 some odd thousand on my other channels. Full disclosure, and I'm trying not to be. I guess it might sound a little dickish, but we lost a lot of money when we started putting up our videos on Rumble at the same time, because the ad revenue was a lot lower, and we've rarely run into the problems that you guys have, but they have been putting the pressure on us. They have been screwing with us, taking down our 2 biggest episodes. So that's basically why we decided we're going to upload every clip we do from the show onto Rumble, and any show that is too, I don't know, spicy gets re-uploaded. So that's our biggest show ever was Darren Beatty. We were live on YouTube. He said some naughty words that YouTube doesn't like, so we uploaded it instead to Rumble, and we got 3 or 4 times the largest viewership we ever got. I think we got 7 million by putting it on Rumble. That hasn't been replicated, but so we do put everything on Rumble, and we intend to keep doing that. I think we may, depending on what happens on Thursday, depending on the results, the show may formally switch to no longer being sole YouTube and now just being multicast on all platforms.
Yeah.
We'll see. The main reason that we just kept it on YouTube was because a large portion of our viewership are watching on the YouTube app on their televisions. Right. They're not watching on their browsers or their phones or anything. And when we had discussed in the past, apps and stuff, a lot of people, when we've switched to backup streams or whatever, we get slammed with member emails and things saying we watch on TV, we don't know where to find it. Right. And so then we're we're trying not to make it as complicated as possible, but considering what's happening now, it doesn't matter what we want to do. It matters what we have to do.
Right.
And so probably multi-stream as of Thursday.
Yeah, we're at that. That's where we all are, and I agree with you. Look, it's tough to compete with the biggest media website that has ever existed on Earth, YouTube. Yeah. But I do think between now and election, we can expect some of those fixes coming in through Rumble, and we've been working behind scenes certainly to make it more feasible with Mug Club. And you know what? I get it. What you do too. It's all of this is really a love letter to your members, right? That's what this is about. It's about the people who choose content, and you are serving. We aren't performers in the sense that. Well, we are, but we're servants. And certainly going through this is something that is a requirement. They need to be served something honest, something accurate, because when there's so much information out there, there might as well be no information. And that's what they're hoping happens. People are bombarded with so much information, and they can select which information gets through to people. So I guess if you stream this on Thursday, we will too, and we'll figure out if we get struck and taken down.
Yeah, we're going to be everywhere. So if they take us down on YouTube, we'll be on X and Rumble.
All right. Okay. And where's the best place for people to, because you have so many different URLs. Where's the best place for me to send people?
YouTube.com/TimcastIRL or Timcast.com.
And it's gone. Channel's gone. Sorry about that, Tim. Didn't mean to get you in trouble. Thank you, brother. We appreciate you taking the time.
Right on, man. Thanks for having me.
All right. Be well. It's been Tim Pool, everybody.